This episode is proudly brought to you by Mapper Forward's workshop, It's Time to Become a Coffee Consultant. Learn how to diversify your revenue streams and create freedom from your day job while saying goodbye to that alarm clock forever by becoming a consultant within the coffee industry or directly to consumers who have shifted towards home brewing and home roasting. Protect your income from challenging times in the coffee value chain by taking this course today. Go to mapperforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for details. Powered by DXB Live and World of Coffee Dubai, Mapper Forward is proud to be the official podcast partner of World of Coffee Dubai in 2024 for a second year in a row. Broadcasting live on YouTube from the show floor over 3 wonderful days, we'll bring you conversations with old friends and new faces who are here in Dubai exploring great opportunities together. Join the conversations live on YouTube or listen via our regular programming on podcast apps as we explore the theme, Empowering the Coffee Industry in 2024, as our series theme here at World of Coffee. Pro tip, follow us on Instagram at mapperforward.coffee to watch folks from around the world do Tim Tam Slams. If you know, you know. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is day 3 of World of Coffee Dubai. And in 2024, very excited to be here. We have our returning guest from months ago, Hassan and Masalmeh. Hassan, welcome back to the podcast.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. You are our representative Gen Zer on the podcast. You're like the voice of Gen Z in the coffee industry in the podcast at the moment. How are you finding World of Coffee?
It's been incredible. Very, very fun 3 days. About the third day's about to kick off. It's been very busy. A lot of things been going on. Mapper Forward has been doing some incredible stuff, so make sure to check out the last couple of days as well. And it's been truly incredible.
What's your favorite coffee that you've had here so far?
I will be completely honest, Stitch Coffee blew my mind. I didn't know it was going to be so good. Nawar, absolute genius. Check him out. It's been incredible.
Yeah, he's... I don't say it lightly when I say he is the best. Stitch Coffee is the best coffee brand in the world. And they're not a sponsor of the podcast or anything like that. We don't get anything financially out of them. We... conspiring to each other's success is, you and I are very close. You see how I operate. I live and breathe conspiring to each other's success. So that's just how I roll. We are talking about on the podcast, we are talking about how do we empower the coffee industry in 2024. And I don't feel like we can have this conversation without including the voice of the next generation of employees and of business owners. So in your mind, how do we empower the coffee industry, or how can we empower the coffee industry in 2024?
It's a very, very big question. Definitely not something easy and has many components. But from a foundational point of view, I would say intentions need to be there. That's something I have been learning from a personal growth point of perspective, and something we are hopefully going to see more and more of in the industry. Having the right intentions of making sure from A to Z in the supply chain things are being done correctly. That's really a foundational perspective, I believe, in my opinion. Once you have the right intentions, whatever happens and flows in between that should kind of align correctly.
Help me understand at a deeper level what you mean by intentions.
When I say intentions, I mean specifically having just a good mind and making sure from your perspective you're doing all that you can to make sure things are being done in a sustainable way. Making sure from the farmer to the middleman to you that you're happy with what's going on, you're content, and you're making sure along that process everyone is as well. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but to make sure this industry survives and
Right.
we keep going, this is a very important part.
Does that concern you as someone who is the next generation of, in my opinion, you're the next generation of leaders in this industry? Because at 19, are you 20 yet?
No,
At
20
19,
in March.
oh, nice. At 19, your intentions are very clear. I'm your mentor. I know exactly what your intentions are into the future. And my team have been commenting to me how impressed they are at the way that you are very intentional and deliberate about the way you want to construct your life. It's really inspiring to see just what the potential is in front of you. I wish I had have been as intentional as you at 19. I wish I had have known how to pave the path ahead that you are very intentional about. And that's why I say I have a deep belief that you are a leader of the future in our industry. Does it concern you what the future looks like for you in the coffee industry? Not personally, but as a generation.
I would say yes. I am. One part of me is heavily concerned. One part of me sees the good in certain things that people are doing. So it's kind of this toss-up in between. Because you have people who are really pushing, for example, these new varieties are pushing more for Robusta to kind of, keep this industry going and not turn coffee into this luxurious thing. Like similar to gold, we're not able to get one day.
Right.
But no, it's very concerning, I would say, especially when we have farmers that are supposedly running some of the biggest farms with, for example, no electricity or not the right resources to be able to contain their processes. And then as we're starting to see, a lot of these farmers are giving up, quite literally. There's nothing in it for them. No one's taking care of them.
Oh, yeah. And we're seeing a lot of that here at the show and online. The talk is, what does the next couple of years hold, right? And the whole reason we chose this topic for the series is because we have a deep belief that the next 2 years are going to be really challenging for the industry. Whether you fall on the side of you're going to get crushed in these challenges or you're going to thrive in these challenges, empowerment can be the leading option for you no matter which way you fall on the side of that line. And I don't know what that means for producers. I don't know what that means for the rest of us if producers decide, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I feel like we've kicked the can down the road, but I do see that there is the potential for hope in that perspective, not for everybody, but for those who build intentionally and sustainably, which goes to your whole thing about intention, right? If you set that intention in the beginning, knowing where you're going is really important. You're the first generation, you're the digital generation.
Correct.
Right? You're digital natives. So tell me, when it comes to looking at how this is going to evolve, what role do you think technology and AI is going to play in the industry that you have for the future, and how is it going to empower you?
Oh, very, very important question. I'm sure everyone is waiting to hear
what
the
Gen Z
answer,
thinks
what Gen
about
Z
this.
thinks about this. From what I've seen, especially in AI and automation, it's all going in a very fast direction and it's all improving very, very quickly. Like day to day, for example, ChatGPT was seeing these major improvements. The possibilities are endless, but to get the most and squeeze out, let's say, the right juice out of these, you need to have, as we said, the correct intention. And learn how to kind of work with it and talk with it as you would with a friend. If I ask the right question, I'll get the right answers.
Yeah.
Similar with AI and automation, if it's set in the correct way and I'm able to ask it the right things, I'm able to get the right answers.
Yeah.
And then it's also on me then to also interpret that correctly and apply them. Because, okay, I got the answers, but how can I apply it to what I do every day? The logistical side of things. It's really, really important to make sure you're on top of that as well.
And when it comes to technology, we have a situation with regards to labour. Are you concerned? You'll spend the next few years working as a barista. You're a barista at Lulu in Bath. And I assume you guys are aware that it's going to get harder and harder to find baristas. How do you feel about the role that technology and automation is going to play in the cafe and what that means for the future of your career?
Also a very important question.
You're
Something
welcome.
Something I've been asking a lot of people about, and I've had many mixed reviews, you could say, about what people think. But something we are definitely slowly more and more seeing, not even slowly, it's actually happening as we see. The line is practically very automated at this point. From you can get the perfect milk to the perfect cup of coffee in seconds. It's even got even faster than it was before.
Right.
But that being said, I would say the level of expertise, the higher the level is, the more you understand, of course, the more you can apply, the more you can play with. But I feel like the barrier to entry to becoming a barista is becoming easier if
How is that possible? Yeah.
you find the right mentor, the right place for you, like we had on our previous discussion. If I'm able to find that right place, I want to learn. And it makes learning easy. But, as you said, that does put my job at risk because AI and automation is there. But I'm not too scared of it because, sure, yeah, that's there. But my human touch still needs to be there for the next decade at least, I would say.
And the thing that I see is rather than annihilating your job, it transitions your job into a new role, right?
Exactly.
What do you see that new, I guess, modified role of the barista is as automation gets taken up?
So I would say it's going to shift once again more to that interpersonal skills. You know, your human skills, your human touch. You're going to have to tap into that more instead of just... Because, you know, not many people want to just go up to a machine and click a button and talk to it. Yes, there is that market. Yes, many people want to. But something I'm starting to learn more and more, not everyone wants that. And we need to have potentially both aspects there. Like, I still need to be there, even if I'm just overlooking things, even if the machine's doing all the work, I still need to be there to kind of add my touch. Exactly, that hospitality touch. But you can also have the perspective of people who just, you know, on the coffee apps, order a coffee, get going. So if you can kind of find this, strike a balance in between those two, you have a very good recipe, I would say.
Well, and the challenging part is that business owners may not really have a choice. Even if their customers want that personal touch, as it's getting more and more difficult to find staff. I mean, listen, when somebody can make $50,000 a month taking photos of their feet on OnlyFans, why would they want to be a barista?
Exactly.
So there are alternatives now that this profession used to fulfill a role in, that it no longer serves young people, it no longer serves people of any age, because, you know, we're in an attention economy that our industry isn't really, I mean, it's hijacked our industry. People come out of university already making tens of thousands of dollars a month because they've figured out how to do different things, whether it be a content creator, be consulting to weird things, whatever it is.
Let me tap into that very quickly. Yes, because they've understood where that next map is, the next gap. Because as we said, automation is creating these new roles. They've understood where that next role is and they've positioned themselves perfectly to align with it, and their growth is endless at that point. It's just understanding where you are, what you want to do, what you seriously love, and then applying those two together, and then you have a formula for success.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting. I know that there are a lot of people that are scared of it. I think that the momentum is going to force people to either move with it or shut down. And what I'm excited about with your generation is that, I'm going to say it like Lee would say, you're not fucking around, right? Like, you have decided that this is, like you said in the last, listen to us.
Listen to us, quite literally. I'm sure I've heard that one quite a lot, actually.
Have you?
Yes.
Listen to
us.
That makes Gen Xers laugh. It really does. What do you want us to listen to you for? I think the number of people I've told that to, like, we had Hassan come on the podcast, and he's a Gen Z, and Gen Z want us to listen to them, and they're like, what do they
listen?
What? Yeah, exactly. Listen for what? What are they going to teach us? And what I think is going to happen is that as you guys age into your 20s and then into your 30s, there's going to be more of a distance between the way that you see the world and the way that Gen Xers see the world. I think that that's an exciting time because we have seen a completely analog world. You don't know anything about that. So it depends what the term, like, what turmoil comes, will you have to adapt to understand the way that we used to see the world? And will we have to adapt to the way that you've only known the world? And that's in the coffee industry and in life in general.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's a very key thing that you mentioned.
Tell me.
You have a gap, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Us coming in, you coming out. Let's
Oh, ouch! Us coming out.
say. Coming out with time, not instantly.
Oh my Lord. Bro, remember, I'm your mentor. You don't talk to your mentors like that. Go on, you aged me very quickly.
Not that old, still very young, but
Okay.
there needs to
Good
be some
save.
synergy, I would say.
Yeah.
There needs to be learning from both sides. Like I said, listen to us.
Listen to us.
And we need to listen to you as hard as that can be. 100%.
That's the way to balance that. We need to listen to each other.
100%.
There needs to be more empathy there, because I think that the role of Gen X, the thing that I hear so much of from people in Gen Z is we need mentors. We want to be mentored, but we can't find the right mentors. And
Okay.
Gen X need to be more willing to be present, because Gen Z are very willing to listen.
We need the guidance, simply.
Right. And Gen Z are the first generation that, from all of the generations, that are en masse very open to the idea of being mentored, learning, listening. And if we can make that a thing that we all do, then we really do bridge that gap. And what we end up doing is learning from each other, and we end up developing things together that are integrated between, as you put it, in a more eloquent way. But as us old timers, that's the first time I've ever said that in my life. But in the context of what you're saying, it feels like it fits. But as 20 years in the industry that I came into and was a part of helping to build is irrelevant to the industry that we're handing over to you. And the way that we did things will only become relevant again if something happens with AI and we have to go back to an analog system. And then we can jump in with the wisdom and with the ability and with the experience. But we also need to pave a path and clear it in front of you so that you guys are able to soar and that we can support that growth. Rather than this thing that I see that happens a lot in our industry, which is people kind of separate themselves from each other and they gatekeep a lot of information. This podcast is all about conspiring to each other's success. And I got to tell you something, I have been incredibly humbled by the feedback that we get from everybody at this show. I'm not going to cry. But it has been wild to hear the feedback of the way that people take the kinds of things that guests on this podcast say. People like you, they take it, they think about it, they consider it, they integrate it into the way that they're making decisions. And it's just really beautiful to see that it's encouraging people to be kinder, to be more open-minded, to be more curious, and to be more authentic, and to have more integrity. It's amazing.
And adaptable.
And adaptable,
Adaptability,
right? Like
yes.
that's the superpower of what these kinds of conversations have. So I'm really proud of you for the amazing job that you've done on this show.
Okay.
You have worked very, very hard here as a volunteer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am very excited about what comes next for you. You have so many things you can choose from. And the future is bright. I think for Gen Z in general, but you in particular, I think that the world is your oyster. Congratulations on being so intentional. I really mean that. My team are beyond impressed. You had dinner with us a couple of times. We've hung out and everyone's like, Hassan's amazing. So you're on the right track. And I hope more Gen Z reach out to people and say, find people. Actually, I'm going to ask you to advise Gen Z on this. What if there's other Gen Zs that are listening to this that want to find a mentor? How do they go about it?
Very good question once again. I would say you need to figure out what you're looking for exactly.
Back to intentions.
Back to your intention. What do you want out of it? What do you want out of it? What do you envision? What do you map? Let's say you did, okay, what does the perfect mentor look like for you? Or what does the right mentor look like for you? What does the wrong mentor look like for you? Defining those definitions is very crucial. And then slowly starting to tap into to those, different people in the industry, whatever that industry may be. There's many industries out there that need more mentors than I do, for sure. Especially the tech industry is very interesting, you see.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of growth going on, there's a lot of new people kind of coming up, and then there's, the kind of Gen X's kind of beginning to shift, as we said, slowly aging out after they've been in the industry for 20, 30
Tiger.
years.
Easy. Clearly, I need to have a conversation with your mentor.
So it's very important, once again, to bridge that gap. So please define what you want, figure out what you need, and then your intention will take you there.
And find the person who's aligned with that intention.
Exactly.
It was very interesting. You were kind of presented with a whole bunch of options when you were deciding your path, right?
Yes.
And I think the beautiful thing about intentions is that, to say this in a way that whatever your mindset is, but there's a weird, strange, language that happens outside of you, that when you set an intention, the universe kind of finds a way to make that show up. And folks, you can adapt that to whatever religion or philosophy or whatever it is that you have, but it's demonstrated. And when you had set your intention, you had been presented with a couple of interesting options, and because you were very intentional about it, you knew exactly which path you wanted to take. And they were going to lead you in very different directions, right?
There was many different choices, but as you said, the intention kind of took me on the stream there.
Yeah.
The path was kind of there, and my intention helped me pick the right train.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad I did. And you need to trust yourself and trust your gut to do that. That also takes quite a lot, because you need to kind of throw out this anxiety, or am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? Your intention will take you there.
I love it. Will you do us the honor of signing everything off?
Thank you very much for having me, first of all.
You're very, very welcome. It's my honor.
Thank you all for listening as well. And for the final time, peace, love, and peanut butter.
Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone, and join us for the rest of the podcast. Don't forget to show us some love by subscribing, liking, commenting, and most of all, sharing this podcast with your friends. Check the show notes for links, including our sponsors and our Patreon, and stay tuned for more great conversations on the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward.